they'll be yelling at clouds too. That's one thing. So you'll all be yelling at clouds, but the other thing is that it just wasn't like that. So what's the like? Some things are better. Some things have changed for the better. Some things are good. Like good. Let's hear it for those things. Good. But like here's something, a development in the culture that came along, and it's not a good thing. Like vaping was supposed to be like, I think there was like a week where it was like, oh yeah, vaping, that's gonna cut down on cigarettes and it'll be better. Like, yeah, and then like the next week it was like, no. But so this right here, my friends, this is Greenwood. So here we go. There we go. Yeah, so this is Greenwood Avenue. So this is the street that is actually a north-south street. That is, we're going north, and the vehicles are going north and south on Greenwood, passing Golf. Golf is where I did that jogging for 3 minutes back there. So we're in this is like suburban, this is like suburb nothing, like I just don't get it. Dude, get a bike, you love it. Yeah, so you get the sunset. I can see some pink clouds back there. Sometimes you get, in general, I've seen just like such a beautiful sunsets in this area. A big part of it is like you don't have the out in nature, at least in this part of the world, part of the country, there are large fields that you would, and once you leave the suburbs and get into the country where crops are being grown, etc., you can see amazing sunsets out there too. But in a place when you're in a suburb, when you're in a city environment, right now, where I'm standing right now is just one point in Chicago land, which encompasses about 10 million people. That's like the metro area outside. That includes the city of Chicago proper, plus the metro area outside all of the suburbs, basically, that are surrounding Chicago. And it's about 10 million people. Maybe it's 9.5, but that's a lot of people. And with that comes a lot of stuff. I mean, one of these things about these cars, and as far as like the cars that the one thing that I can understand. Here we go. We got some growling over there, and we got speeding and all this stuff. There. Oh yeah, here, yeah. You want to say something? But the one thing I could say, like the one thing I understand is really it does tend to make space for that vehicle. So if that, the whole thing it's a very it's often quoted. And it's a thing that you hear a lot. It's start seeing motorcycles. Well, part of the campaign for that is having motorcycles that can make a lot of growling noise. And I don't have the terminology for what for all that noise that they make, but that's one of the ways you're going to start seeing motorcycles, is you're going to start hearing it too. And so I mean I get that. That is. I get that. I guess people are going to be able to have their the vehicles that are allowed to be on the road can be on the road. What's interesting to me is that the equivalent of that behavior and of that noise would be a noise ordinance violation, a disturbance of the peace. But when in general, for traffic, when it comes to certain cars, certain motorcycles and stuff. It's like, no, well, that's just, that's just what we do, or like that's the way that things are right now, So, yeah, I'm spending. I know I've spent a lot of time with this. Yeah, I mean it's prevalent. I have about 8 years of experience as a DJ, so put that in perspective, and maybe just think about like, hey, if you're trying to DJ a radio show, or if you're trying to create moods, if you're trying to like curate music in your life, which a lot of people are all the time, you're not gonna want this motorcycle noise and all this garbage, like in the studio, or what I mean. I mean, unless and the other thing is, like, even if it's like your best friend, and you're like, yeah, just make whatever noise you want all the time, just whenever you want, just come and drown out the studio with your and all that stuff. It's like it would get old, like probably within the third day. So it's more than the third day here. It's just really freaking old. Okay. So, but we're going to keep working on it. And like I said, no matter what, it's like 2050, 2060, 2040. No, it's 2040 is too early. 2050. Well, who knows? It really depends on the development of these computer cars. Because at some point, and I think it's a pretty good probability that we're going to have these cars, and that we'll get to the point where you cannot drive a car. Like maybe only the police and maybe ambulances, or there's certain people who will be licensed to drive cars, but your ordinary citizen will not be able to drive a car because we could use these computer cars. The argument will be that it'll cut down on the noise, it'll cut down on accidents, it'll cut down on lives lost, and all this stuff. So I think that's where we're headed. And another little